Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Hendrick BMW Northlake. We're going to take a look at this beautiful 2022 BMW M8 Competition Gran Coupe. Huge shout out to them for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That link is down in the description. But the model that you see behind me is finished off in chalk, and it has an MSRP just over $148,000. But let's go ahead and talk about what powers this M8. Up underneath the hood, you'll find the 4.4 liter twin power turbo V8 engine paired with the 8-speed M Sport automatic transmission. This pumps out a whopping 617 horsepower around 6,000 RPM and 553 pound-feet of torque around 1,800 RPM. That power is set to all four wheels. It weighs in right around 4,400 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just over 3 seconds, up to its top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 20.1 gallons, so you'll expect to see around 15 miles per gallon in the city and 20 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 119.2 inches. Its overall length is 200.9. It has a width of 76.5 and a height of 55.9 inches. As we work our way to the exterior now on this M8, I'm going to start off with the adaptive LED headlights. They have a really nice design to them, and you can see the blue accents that are inside this housing too, just to give it a great touch against this exterior color. You'll also notice the LED DRLs have a really nice floating design to them, surrounding both the headlights and the high beams, and then the turn signal is in the upper section there. As we work our way to the kidney design for the grille, you'll see on this model it's finished off in gloss black with these vertical slats. It provides plenty of cooling for this V8 engine. You can see all the gaps between there, but it gives it a nice look at the same time. This also has an integrated forward-facing camera. You'll see all the parking sensors in the middle section of this bumper, and this model also has some carbon fiber goodies. So you'll see that surrounding this trim piece on both sides, along with a little bit on the lower section of the bumper. And again, you'll see more mesh to provide more cooling and better aerodynamics. This model also has a forward-facing sensor, which is a part of all the adaptive cruise and all of that technology. And then last up, you'll see all of the lines coming down the hood just to add to that aggressive look. As we work our way to the side profile now for this M8, I'm going to start off with these wheels. So this has a really nice set of M Sport wheels. They measure 20 by 9.5 up front and 20 by 10.5 in the rear. You can see the two-tone design to them along with the multi-spoke finish. And then just behind the wheels, you can see the red calipers. These are the M Sport calipers. Gives it a really nice accent against this exterior chalk. You'll also notice that the front rotors measure 15.5 inches and 15 inches in the rear. And this model also has the M Carbon exterior package. So that includes the entire roof, which is finished off in carbon fiber. Really nice accent to see, along with the power folding side mirrors. You'll see that on the top portion, along with the integrated turn signal and a camera underneath each one. And I'll show that camera system later on in today's video. This also has more carbon fiber just behind the front tires, where you'll also see the M8 badge. And then we have some really nice lines that run off of that trim piece. You can see them just underneath the door handles, along within the lower section of the door. And the side skirts also protrude out, just giving it more of an aggressive look. And you can see those lines flow nicely to the rear end just to give it a great look. And we have a nice sloping rear glass to give it that coupe-like design. And last up for this M8, you'll see that this has a trunk lip spoiler. Of course, it's finished off in carbon fiber, and it has some really nice lines to it, giving it an aggressive look. You'll also notice this has LED taillights. They extend into the power liftgate here, just giving it a great design, and it flows nicely. You'll also notice the M8 Competition badge. This also has a backup camera with all the parking sensors right in the middle section of this bumper, where you'll also notice we have some really nice contoured lines. You can see one coming from the taillight all the way down to the lower section, and then we have some lines that jut off to both sides here just to give it that great look. And then in the lower section here, you can see a combination of gloss black and carbon fiber trim. And then on both sides, we have the quad tip dual exhaust. Now it's time to check out the interior on this M8. So I have the vehicle locked and the key in my pocket. All I need to do is place my hand on the door handle. You can hear it unlock, where now we can move on to this door panel. You'll see it's completely covered in black leather, really nice stitching running throughout it. There's also a lot of brushed aluminum accents. You can see that surrounding all the memory seating adjustments, along with lock and unlock and the release handle. This also has a 16-speaker Bowers & Wilkins audio sound system. You'll see all the window controls along with the side mirror adjustments are finished off in brushed aluminum. Really nice grab handle just in front of that. And then down in the lower section of the door, you can see the power liftgate release along with a little bit of storage space. And then as we work our way to the interior here, you'll see the M8 Competition badge down on the door sill. And now we can move on to these beautiful black leather seats. You can see another M8 badge up in the headrest, really nice stitching running down the bolsters and a great insert to them as well. You can also adjust the front section of the seat just by pulling on this tab here if you need a little bit more comfort. This model also has the M Sport seatbelt, so you can see those colors stitched onto the seatbelt itself. And then down below, we have all of the automatic controls. And now that we're inside with my foot on the brake, it's time to start it up. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster, you'll see over on the left side is the fuel gauge along with the miles per hour. On the right side is the tach and the engine temperature. And then you can see right in the middle of the tach there's some information that we can scroll through by using this top button over on the turn signal stalk. So right now you can see the average miles per hour along with distance. If I push on it once, you can pull up the TPMS. You can also view some vital temperatures to look at, along with your live readouts for horsepower and torque. So if I give the vehicle some gas right now, you can see those adjust, which is really neat to see. There's also a G-force meter. You can pull up the radio when that is on and active. And you can also look at what everything is set up for the different driving modes. So it's really nice to be able to see that right in front of you. You can also pull up what gear you're in and then look at your average MPG again. And then as we work our way to the steering wheel now, you'll see it's completely covered in solid black leather with all the stitched colors running along the insert. Gives it a really nice design. This is also a heated steering wheel too, so we have that control down below. Over on the right side is volume and tuning for the radio, along with Bluetooth and voice commands. On the left side is all of the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. You'll also notice that this model has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They are finished off in brushed aluminum, of course, which matches the rest of the trim on the steering wheel. And then we have these two red buttons. We have M1 and M2. So basically what these are used for is to set up the different driving modes for this vehicle and configure this how you would like to. So they're basically shortcuts to that screen that I showed earlier. You can just push on that button and have the car ready to go. So it's really nice to see that. As we work our way to the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see all the headlight controls along with a dimmer switch for the gauges. There's one air vent. You'll also notice too that this headliner is finished off in Alcantara, which is a really nice touch for this car. And this also has the heads-up display. So right now it's showing the miles per hour and the speed limit sign. And then as we work our way to the center, this is the 10.3-inch screen. It is a touchscreen system, or you can come down here and use all of these controls where we have shortcuts to map and navigation along with home, media and phone, the rotary dial, and then back an option just behind that. So right now, if I click on the home button, it brings up this screen right here where I'll go ahead and use this rotary dial. You can scroll through a lot of information right in front of you here. From navigation, you have your media and phone. You can also look at your setup. So basically all the different driving modes, you have another area to view this. There's engine data, tire pressure. You can also look at some more information along with the compass. So it's really nice to be able to view all of this information. Now, if I use this rotary dial, I can go over to the left side where you can see all of these settings right here. We have media and phone along with navigation. If I go into car and go to M menu, now I can configure those buttons on the steering wheel, which I mentioned earlier. So if I go into M1, you can change the engine, the transmission. You can go through all this information and set them up to what you would like to. So it's really nice to be able to do that depending on who's driving this vehicle and what kind of driving you're doing. You can also look at your vehicle status along with different settings, and you have some other profiles that you can go into. So it's really nice to see all of that. And then last up is apps. This vehicle does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a few other apps that you can go into based on what you use the most. As we work our way below that now, you'll see the intelligent safety button. So if I go into this and configure it, you can go through your forward collision along with your side collision, lane departure, and turn all of this on and off depending on what you like. So it's really nice to have that shortcut right there. You'll also notice an air vent on both sides. And then right in the center is this LCD screen for all of the climate. So it's really nice how that's separate from the upper screen. We have the temperature on both sides for driver and passenger, along with the fan speed and being able to turn it off. There's a few other recirc buttons on both sides of that, along with the heated seat controls. But you'll also notice too, these center ones are finished off in brushed aluminum. As we work our way below that now, you'll see all of these presets here, along with power and volume for the radio. Tuning is on the right side. And then just underneath that, you'll see this compartment is open. There's a good amount of storage space in the back section here, along with a wireless charging port. You'll see two cup holders, along with a USB and a 12 volt. And then if I close this up, it's completely finished off in carbon fiber. You can see another M8 Competition badge. So that is a really nice touch to see. And it works its way around all these controls right in the middle. Where now we'll go ahead and move on to the shifter. So in order to put this vehicle into reverse, I'm gonna push this all the way to the left and up. That is for reverse, of course. And now you'll see this backup camera up here with the top-down view on the right side. we can also swipe this bar over from the left side and click on 3D. So this is where you can see around this entire vehicle. There's also shortcuts over on this top-down view that you can click on depending on where you need to see around this car. So it gives you great graphics as to what's around this, which is really nice to see. You can also go to the car wash setting. So if you're using this to go into a car wash, of course, or a parking spot, you can see exactly where the front of this vehicle is, along with the guidelines too, which is really helpful. And then this car also has the automatic parking for parallel parking, along with the backup assistance if you need to use it. And then if I push a button on the left side of the shifter, that will pull up the forward-facing camera. So you can see that in full screen, definitely gives you a lot of visibility. And that control was right here to the left side. Just above that is traction control. You'll see the parking sensors you can turn on and off, along with the engine start-stop feature. Of course, this is how you start up and turn off the vehicle itself. And then to put the vehicle into drive, we were all the way up into reverse here. Drive is over to the right side, and then you can just push the P on the back to put it into park, of course. And there's a few adjustments for the transmission shifting that you can control on the back side, which is really nice to see. And then just behind that, we have the M mode button. So if I go ahead and push on that, you'll see the entire gauge cluster change, where we have the gear right in the center, along with the tack on both sides. Gives it more of a sporty appearance. There's also the setup button just behind that, along with the exhaust note button. You can see the auto hold assist, along with the electronic parking brake. And then as we work our way to the center armrest here, I'll just push this button in the front. You can see there's a good amount of storage space, along with a 12 volt and a USB. And this is finished off in leather, of course, with some more stitching. As we work our way to the glove box now, you'll see there's plenty of room for all the information that needs to go there. We'll take one last look at these beautiful seats. You can see all the stitching running down the seatbelt as well. And then up top, you'll notice we have the dome lights. Now that I'm in the back seats of this M8, I'm gonna talk about the amount of room that I have. I'm 5'10", I have the front seat set at my height. I have plenty of room for my feet and my knees, and about 1 or 2 inches above my head, where I can get another look at this Alcantara headliner, which is a really nice attention to detail. These seats are also pretty comfortable too. They sink down just a little bit. We have some side support here, so it just gives you that comfortable ride. You'll also notice the door panels finished off just like up front, so we have a lot of attention to detail in the back seats. You'll also see more carbon fiber and brushed aluminum right in the center, along with 2 air vents, 2 USB-C ports, and the dual zone climate controls for the backseat passengers. So we have fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, and all of those controls. And you'll also notice too, if you don't have a middle seat passenger, we have this armrest along with a little bit of storage space underneath it and 2 cup holders in the front section. And then these back seats also have a 40-20-40 split. So I can fold down this middle seat if you have any larger items to put through. And then when you fold down all 3 seats, that gives you a lot more interior storage. And last up, it's time to take a look at the trunk storage space. I'm just gonna use the button on the key fob, and you'll see the power trunk open up, where it reveals a lot of storage, even with the back seats folded up. You can see just how deep this compartment is. There's a few tie-down hooks if you'd like to safely secure any items. Over on the passenger side, you can see this net for a little bit of extra storage. And then over on the right side are some roadside assistance tools. You'll also notice this is how we can fold down the back seat. So over on the passenger side, I can pull that tab, same on the driver's side, and you'll see just how much space is back here. There's no overhang, so you can definitely fit a lot of items in this vehicle. And with the power trunk, we can either close and lock the vehicle or push this button on the left side, it will automatically close. All right, so getting this 2022 BMW M8 Competition Gran Coupe out on the road now. This is definitely the best of both worlds from BMW, as far as being a performance vehicle and having the practicality of being a great daily driver, because you have the back seat storage along with the storage behind the seats. So it's really nice how you can get that in a vehicle like this. It also has that coupe-like design, being a Gran Coupe, very elegant design on the exterior, especially in this color too. It just gives it a really clean look. I love all the lines on the outside. It gives you that luxurious feel to it, but at the same time, with a push of a few buttons on the interior, you can change this into a performance driving machine with well over 600 horsepower and being all-wheel drive. This is pretty much the ultimate daily. Well, let's go ahead and pop it over into the manual setting. I'm gonna push on the M1 button because I've already programmed that to be the more aggressive. Everything is in Sport Plus. We have the exhaust on at the same time. So if we downshift, we'll give it a little bit of gas and listen to this V8. Oh, wow. It's not crazy loud, but boy, does this get up and move. Not doing anything too crazy. Let's hear some of those downshifts again. Oh my gosh, this is the ultimate driving machine for sure. It has so much power to it, and yet at the same time, you can't really feel the weight of this car. Even doing a slight acceleration like that, I mean, we got up to speed just like that. Coming around this hard right, super planted. For a vehicle weighing around 4,400 pounds, I have no complaints with how this is handling these turns. I'm not doing anything crazy, of course, but I just can't get over. Wow, you can't even feel any of the body roll. This is definitely that ultimate sleeper car, if you want to call it that, because you can drive this to work every single day. It's very comfortable. You can put it into those comfortable settings. It's very quiet on the interior as well. It's what you would expect from a luxurious vehicle like this. There's no wind noise or road noise. It's very quiet. It could be a very calming car, but then, as I mentioned earlier, push a few buttons and you can turn this into an all-wheel drive monster that you could take out on these back mountain roads like I am today, maybe even to the track. It has all of that performance and a great sound to it too. Oh man, it'll put you back in your seat a little bit. I couldn't imagine opening this up and really putting it to its full potential because this is a beast of a vehicle for sure. So I've dialed everything back to basically normal comfort. We have the quiet exhaust. I'll give it a little bit of gas here in normal mode. I mean, it'll still get up. You can't hear the exhaust as much, and the throttle response is definitely not as quick as when you put everything into Sport Plus. And it shifts pretty nice by itself, so that's really cool how you can do that. If you just want it to be a normal daily driver, as I mentioned earlier, I think we have to do one more acceleration. With everything in Sport Plus. Wow. Oh man, that never gets old. But anyway, let's move on to some other things with this vehicle aside from its driving performance, which is awesome. As I've put a few miles on this, it's really nice. It's a very comfortable car to drive too. These seats are very nice. I love the bolstering support that they have. And it's also very easy to see around this entire vehicle. Being the Gran Coupe, it's a little bit more stretched, obviously, than a traditional two-door coupe. But even looking over my left shoulder, I can see out of that glass. I can see out of my right side here. I also forgot to mention too that there is an adjustable sunshade on that rear glass, which is currently up at the moment. But even with that up, I can still see through it. Obviously, it doesn't hinder any visibility like that. But even looking over my right shoulder, the pillar's not all that bulky. So really good visibility. And we have that camera system as I showed earlier. So this is definitely the ultimate daily driver if you're looking for something that has the performance, but you need the practicality of being a four-door vehicle and having all of that extra interior storage. But I think that's going to wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive, getting behind the wheel of this 2022 BMW M8 Competition Gran Coupe. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this ultimate driving machine for me today. Make sure you check out their website. That link is down in the description below. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date on our daily uploads. And I'll see you in the next video.